All right, guys, we have somebody who is potentially challenging Boston's mayor, Michelle Wu, and his name is Josh Kraft. Now, we don't know much about why he's running or what his stances are, but we do know a little bit about Josh, all right? He is a prominent philanthropist, and he's also the son of New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft. Now, I'm sure there's probably more to this than just a big name entering the race, and I think overall it could be a potential net positive for Boston's leadership, and I'm going to explain why. So, in my opinion, anybody that runs for office, there's these people that simply run for office because they want the position. But holding office is a serious responsibility, okay? Now, I'm not going to create any kind of narrative here, but I think it's reasonable to assume that anybody challenging the current leadership might have concerns about the direction our city is heading, okay? And I think it's also worth noting how rare it is for an incumbent to be unseated in Boston. This has not happened since, I think it was 1949 or something. You know, that said, I also want to tell you something else, right? I think we need to be respectful and not jump to conclusions and keep the discussion in the comments as civil as possible until we learn a little bit more about his intentions. Because if we do jump to conclusions without the data to back them up, then we're essentially just as guilty as some of these lawmakers that we criticize. Okay? That's my opinion. I'm going to stick to it. Ultimately, I see this as a potential opportunity for all of us to get more involved in shaping the future of our city together. But really, the only one that has been given that opportunity to decide on how involved we, the public, get would be Josh himself. So I'm going to dive into this article with you guys and maybe figure out what's driving his interest to run for this position. So let me get right into it. All right, so this is it. This is from CBS News. Josh Kraft to run against Boston Mayor Michelle Wu. All right, let's get into it. So, Boston, Josh Kraft, the son of the New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft, is running against Boston Mayor Michelle Wu, WBZ TV confirmed Tuesday. Wu, who just had a baby last week, is in the final year of her first term. The election will be on November 4th. Who is Josh Kraft? Don't be embarrassed if you have no idea who Josh Kraft is. His Wikipedia entry isn't even sure what year he was born, 1966 or 1967. But Kraft has not exactly been the invisible man. For more than a decade, he served as the CEO of the Boston chapter of the Boys and Girls Club and is a well-known figure in the local philanthropic community through his work with the Kraft family charities. And more recently, as a chairman of the board of the Eastern Massachusetts chapter of the National Urban League. He is a graduate of Williams College with a master's degree in social policy and educated from the Harvard Graduate School of Education. Josh Kraft's campaign. We'll all learn more about Josh Kraft in the weeks to come. A February campaign kickoff is reportedly in the works. His community work, well-known name, and access to campaign resources make him, on paper, a serious candidate. But like any election involving an incumbent, this race will ultimately be a referendum on Mayor Wu. There's scarce polling available publicly, but what there is suggests she enjoys majority support across the city. I don't know about that. Mayor Wu's challenges. But this is Boston, a place where grievances are nursed and never forgotten. And there are some important sectors of the electorate that have a few bones to pick with Wu these days, including Black voters. On her way to victory in November of 21, Wu defeated the first Black mayor, Kim Janey, and a popular Black city councilor, Andrea Campbell, now the state's attorney general. She has appeared to upset some Black voters with her plan to share White Stadium with a pro soccer team, her aborted effort to move a popular math and science-oriented high school from Roxbury to West Roxbury, and her proposed makeover of parts of Blue Hill Avenue. On other issues of importance to the black community and citywide, such as housing, crime, and the cost of living, Wu certainly has a case to make. But whether or not black voters will give her high marks or an incomplete remains to be seen. The business community. Wu's failed effort to raise commercial real estate taxes to help balance the rapidly increasing city budget angered a lot of business owners and developers, including some past supporters of hers, some of my friends as well. She has branded herself as the champion of the residential property owner, who are now receiving sharp increases in their relatively low tax rates to make up the difference. It would be a mistake to underestimate Wu's political acumen. She topped the citywide ticket in 2 council races before mopping up in the mayoral race, and has used the dispute over tax rates to tune up her political machine. Still, her handling of the tax situation has made some new enemies who could provide fertile soil for Kraft. I would agree with that. There was a lot of people upset about the tax situation. Conservatives. You'd be surprised how many of them there are in the city of Boston, and they vote. I think a lot of them may be here. From the North End, where some critics are still fuming over her ban on outdoor dining, to the 36% of the electorate that voted for Anissa Asabi George over Wu in 2021, there's a significant pool of voters who may not have warmed up to her since then. But keep one salient fact in mind. It's been 76 years since an incumbent Boston mayor, James Michael Curley, lost a re-election bid. Hope Josh Kraft has good hiking boots. He's facing an uphill climb. I don't necessarily know if that's true entirely, because I think a lot of people are upset with our mayor. All right. I think a lot of people are upset. I don't think this is just an echo chamber. You know, if you go to Twitter or X, whatever it's called, you go to Reddit, which I don't really like going to, you know, a lot of people are not necessarily happy with her. And again, I'm not trying to paint some sort of narrative here. I'm just telling you what I see. Perhaps the people that are happy with her are not commenting on that, which leads me to believe maybe they are also unhappy. Okay. And again, that's just my opinion here. But overall, you know, I think that what we should do is give Josh a chance, at least in the beginning, see what he's about. And I ultimately think this is a pivotal move in Boston. You know, someone out there needs to be tackling systematic challenges and envision a more unified city. So again, in my opinion, the next mayor will have a monumental task ahead, as I said earlier. And, you know, Josh has a lot of deep community ties. And as this story develops, one thing is for certain, guys, okay? The conversation on this is just getting started, and the future of Boston's leadership is literally wide open. I think there may also be other people that may join into the race, and we'll cover that too. Let me know your opinions below on this. But again, keep it somewhat civil. We're in a position here where we don't have as much information on what his stances are. Okay. So again, I want to understand the back end so I could provide more information to you guys on the front end and give my opinion. But overall, I think anybody stepping up to the plate versus nobody is already a positive. Again, that is my opinion, but we'll see what happens in the future. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.